On about any given day, you could find Gary and Diane Smith here, working on their Labor of Love project. The Smiths have been working on this project for several years.
Putting these up for the North Lyon County Memorial Wall, representing Bushong, the soldiers that were lost in World War II.
Here's what makes this Veterans Memorial stand out from others. The North Lyon County Veterans Memorial Wall Garden honors the sacrifices made by these 10 soldiers from the town of Bushong, located in northern Lyon County. In the 1940 census, just before the U.S. entered World War II, there were 135 residents listed in Bushong. Now, consider that 10 of this town's young men were killed in action in World War II, and 4 of them were killed on D-Day, June 6, 1944.
I don't want them forgotten ever.
Diane Bednar Smith says per capita, Bushong lost the most men in Kansas and perhaps the U.S. during the war. Now, the town of Bushong is a ghostly semblance of what it once was. The 2020 census lists 27 residents here compared to 193 in 1930. In the late 1800s, Bushong was a whistle stop even for the Missouri Pacific Railroad. Old photos of Main Street show the bank on the corner and next to it, the hotel with its very visible stone walls.
It was a hotel that was built in the 1800s. It burnt down in the 30s and had been a pile of rock since.
He says that pile of rock was so high it hid the wall that is now a main part of the memorial.
The people that lived here didn't even know the wall was back here.
The Smiths took before, during, and after the work photos. This before the work began photo shows the trees growing in and around the rubble, which hid the lone remaining hotel wall.
As soon as I saw the wall, I knew what I wanted to do with it.
This isn't the Smiths' first Veterans Memorial to be involved with. Just to the north of the memorial wall is the North Lyon County Veterans Memorial. This memorial represents all the veterans of North Lyon County for every war since the War of 1812. Individual granite memorial structures have the names of veterans listed with the war or military conflict that they served in. The work on that memorial started in 2015 and was completed in 2020. Diane says it was while doing her research on this memorial that she became aware of the loss of the 10 Bushong soldiers during World War II.
I'd always planned to honor these 10 veterans after we got that done, and when I saw the wall, I knew exactly what I wanted to do, and this is more than I thought, more than I dreamed of.
One feature that stands out on the wall is the window opening. To the Smiths, it inspired what became the perfect location for the centerpiece of the memorial.
This is what it's all about right there.
Jeff Tennant, a veteran living in Kansas City, built the window structure featuring the laser-etched photos. The Smiths had the vision for this and put their sweat and efforts into constructing it. But they quickly acknowledged this work wouldn't have happened without the generous monetary donations from others to pay for the needed materials. And the Smiths say there were several volunteers who pitched in when they could with their labor and equipment to make this happen.
It's a lot of fun. We really enjoyed doing what we're doing, kind of bringing Bushong back to life.
The work brings out a range of emotions.
It makes me sad when I look at them, because they're so young. They have their whole lives ahead of them. It makes you wonder what they would have done with their lives.
D-Day, June 6, 1944. The Allied nations stormed the 5 French beaches to establish a foothold in northwest Europe. This would begin the later march to Berlin, Germany. Thousands of soldiers died in the D-Day battles. Amongst those killed in action that day were 4 sons from Bushong area families. They were all killed together when their landing craft, similar to these, struck a mine while the craft approached Omaha Beach. They were all members of the same Army Engineering Division. Those Bushong casualties? Sergeant J. Moreland. His brother, Staff Sergeant William Moreland. Sergeant John Herrick, and Private Rex Gore. Diane describes how this work makes her feel a close connection with these fallen heroes. While doing the work, she says, she will occasionally find herself talking with a soldier like John Herrick.
And I'd sit there and talk to him. You know, like, I hope you like this, and you know, I'd talk silently to myself, and it's just amazing that that's actually going to happen, that one of our guys is coming home.
The bodies of the 4 Bushong soldiers killed on D-Day were listed as never found. But then 2 months before this interview, Diane learned the Defense Department identified Herrick's remains.
I got a phone call saying that he was identified. And it's like, I couldn't stop crying. It was just like amazing. If they found one, they could find the other 3. And it was just eerie that we had gotten done with the wall at this time. They found him, identified him. It was like really special.
To her, it's like a miracle that Herrick's remains were identified by the Defense Department at the time this work was being done.
It was like a miracle hit us. Because I feel like I know them boys, because they're the ones that started it for me. Started all this. If it weren't for them, there probably wouldn't be this.
Diane doesn't know when Herrick's remains will come home to Kansas.
We're hoping he comes home on D-Day next year. He'll either be buried here at the memorial, or I offered a plot for him at the cemetery.
On a cold autumn day, family, friends, and veterans came to Bushong for the 5th annual Home of the Brave celebration. The day-long event included military displays, living history, and World War II battle reenactments, and a ribbon cutting dedicating the memorial. All of it is to honor the 10 soldiers memorialized here, so their individual sacrifice, and by extension, the sacrifice of the families in such a small Kansas town, is never forgotten.
I don't want them forgotten ever.
This is Chris Frank in Bushong for Positively Kansas.